Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is the first video I'm recording in the new house, so I'm going to apologise if there is a bit of an echo. Unfortunately, this office room isn't exactly sound chambered at the minute, so it's apparently it's kind of a nightmare even when I'm playing games and stuff. You know, the microphone's picking up some sort of background residuation as well. So we're going to record this, we're going to see how it sounds, and if it's terrible we're just going to delete, otherwise we will give it an upload. But today I thought I would bring you my take on the Zamasu Fused leader. This is a very interesting leader for me. This leader, for me personally, I don't know how this leader is going to play. I really don't. The giving up a draw on your Awaken side is really bad. At least with Broly you have a way to draw. So, in blue, unfortunately, plays around an 8 to 7 card hand, right? That's what they want to do, is be on 8 cards, play a card to put them at 7, and then they do all their shenanigans. But by the time you awaken, your hand is going to plummet. Like, when you're on 3 life, even if you do the leader's effect to discard 1, and if your life's at 2 or less, you ramp a life, basically, from the top of your deck. But every time that you discard, you're putting yourself in a worse position because you can't realistically then defend your own life. So it's a really interesting leader. I don't personally think it's going to shape anything from the meta. I still think maybe Trunks being the exception, but it's definitely Goku Black and Vegeta for me are still the best leaders going into set 2 for blue, especially Vegeta. Goku Black as well, which will probably be my next profile, which will be coming tomorrow. Goku Black as well is another one that I think is just much better. I think all of the cards from set 2, they just play into those leader strategies a lot better. So I'm going to do the deck profile anyway for what I've put together is just my take on Zamasu, but if I am completely honest, I do not think that this is a good leader. So I apologise if anybody's excited for this. For me, I just don't particularly like this leader. It being a 25k is nice, but not drawing and not being able to keep your hand size, I don't know, for me, I just don't like it. But we'll go through the profile anyway. So for those of you that don't know, the leader is just a draw 1 on attack, and then if your life's at 3 or less, you draw 1 and awaken. You being at 3 life is also a handicap. This should have realistically been a 4 life leader. Even if you awaken and then instantly ramp back to 5, your hand size is going to plummet throughout the next couple of turns. So I actually think that would have been better for the leader. I think doing it at 3 is a bit of a handicap, unfortunately. But on the Awaken side, he's 25k, and he's got an active main that once per turn that you tap 1, you discard 1, and then you ramp. If your life's at 2 or less, then you ramp a life. So that's the other part of the effect I don't like as well. You have to be on 2 life. For me, I'm just not a fan of it. I think it's not a strong effect. People are going to cripple themselves to gain a life, and then your opponent's going to take that life no problem in the following turn anyway. So I'm not sure about it, but anyway, we'll go through the crux of the deck. So, the 1 cost Zamasu, he's a 10k combo. He's still one of the best cantrips in the game. You know, just tap 1, play it, bottom deck at 1 cost. It's a 10k combo, there's no reason not to run this. Then we run 4 Mais because you want to get to your Awaken range. Depending on... The thing with Mai for me, right, is that I don't know if this is necessarily a leader you want to run Mai in. I know that you want to Awaken and get to 3, but the quicker you get to 3, the quicker you lose your draw power. So this for me is in here just because I know if I don't include it, everybody will be wondering why, but I think that this is a very cuttable card. I don't think you need this in this leader. I don't think you realistically want to self-awaken. I think your leader being 15k, yes, you have to combo to make it an offensive threat, but you're giving up your draw power. That's the biggest part. So I'm not sure about Mai, personally. 4 Pilafs. It's one of the best cards in the game, pretty much. That's the only reason. We run 3 Pans. This is another interesting one. There is a reason. Mostly I want it for the 10k combo. I do like it for the draw 2, discard 2, of course. That certainly does come up, but for the most part, it's a 10k combo. When you see this full list, you'll see that we don't actually run a whole lot of them, and Pan is just a good card to fill that number out. And then we run 3 of the 2-drop Zamasus. The card can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills. This does not apply to minus power. Anything that negs power will kill this card. So beware of that when you play into red. If it minuses power, it's dead. If it's the 3-drop Goku from set 1, it can't kill it because obviously it's a skill that's just outright killing it, but the new Gohan, let's say for example, and the Beerus leader could kill this card. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But on attack, you discard 1 and draw 1. Again, I'm not a big believer in that effect, but the fact it's a 20k that can't be removed by skills, meaning it plays very well into yellow, blue, and green, pretty much. Fair enough, they can obviously attack into it and kill it by battle, but it's still an option there for an offensive threat. That's the reason it's in here. I run 4 Trunks use. Again, because of our hand size, we are likely going to get to that 7 or fewer cards in hand, so this is just a 2 cost 25k, it's just a good stat line. Plus we can take a life as well if we, decide that we want to awaken our leader that turn. There is that option as well. Yeah, there's no reason not to. And I have seen as well in testing, I've been watching some games on Untap and stuff, where I've seen someone I've been spectating, while they're on 3 life, they awaken, they then play Trunks, they take the life, and then depending on what the life is or whatever, they then just use the leader skill to ramp the life back. So sometimes that's not the worst play. I can understand that, because you're digging into your life to see if there's a card that you could maybe grab there. It's not the worst play. I don't know whether or not it's the best play, but I did see it. It was just something to sort of let people know that that is a possibility. Sorry, apologies, I'm starting to come on with a bit of a cold as well. I run 2 of the 3-drop Trunkses. This is mainly just our board removal. This, you'll see in a minute once I get to the crux of the build, this is pretty much a control version of Zamasu. This being able to remove a 5 or less is still a great card. Plus it's a self-awakener, there's no reason not to run this. I only run it at 2 just because of deck space. And then we run 3 of the Vegetos. This is another card that kind of works in tandem with Trunks Future. If we have 7 or fewer cards in hand, all of our opponent's battle cards in the battle area are reduced by 1, meaning that Trunks could bounce a 6-drop. So that's the idea behind it. How much of these cards survive the turn they're played, I don't really know. But on play, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards at the cost of 1 or less and place it at the bottom of the deck. So if you've got 7 or fewer cards with Vegeto, you're removing a 2 or less, pretty much. And then if this sticks around the turn after, if you're playing Trunks Futures, or even if it's there on your turn 5 for when you play your big guys, you can start removing higher cost battle cards. It is there for that purpose, but I'm honestly still not sure how I feel about this card. Yes, it's a 3 cost 25k, so for stat line it's pretty good, but the effects aren't really that strong. So I don't know whether or not going the weenie beatdown rush as blue does is still the best play, but either way it's in here for now. This is just a version 1 of my build currently. But yeah, I do like Vegeto. To an extent, anyway. I like it just for its stat line. The effect is neither here nor there. And then we run 4 cost Zamasu. We run 4 of these because it is one of our only ways to keep up our draw power. If we have 7 or fewer cards in our hand, we draw 1, and that's on attack. And then when KO'd, we play this card in rest mode, right? So the problem with this is that it sucks into green. It really sucks into green, because the 8-drop Broly will KO this, it comes back in rest mode, and then they're just going to swing 45k into this. So they're already a number that we can't realistically deal with. Into most other colours, nah, it's alright. Into red, it's pretty useless just because it's when KO'd. Obviously, we don't do a lot of KOing in red, so I don't know. For me, I'm not really too sure how I feel about this card in generic blue, but I think in this leader, this is a 4-off must because we need our draw power. We absolutely need to be able to draw cards. He is a 25k for 4 cost. I genuinely think, had this been a 30k battle card, this card would be really, really, really good. It would be very, very good. But I can also see why it's not a 30k, because in other blue decks this card would be absolutely snapped. So I can understand it, but I do wish that its stats were a little bit better for those effects, because let's say the draw 1 is lovely, it's really nice, but our opponent is just going to either dedicate their entire turn to removing this, or attacking into our leader. Both of these are 25k's, so either way it's costing us the same number of cards to protect either. It's not great, but it's still a great card for sure, and it's definitely a 4-of in this leader. I run 2 of the 5-drop Vegetas. We need a double strike. We need a way to just beat our opponent through a double strike if it comes up. It's purely the only reason. There's not really much else to say there. We just need a double striker for the deck. We also have 2 secret rares. So we choose up to one of our opponent's battle cards that cost 5 or less and return it to its owner's hand. So of all the 5 or less from last set, most of them were these cards, which are 0k combos, you know, your double strikers, things like that. Bouncing a 0k back to hand completely fine. You remove the threat off the board and they don't have a card to combo. So for me, it's worth it. It's a great card. Plus, if we have this Vegito on board, we can actually remove a 6 or less. So there is potential there for us to get really, really wild with what we can remove. You know, the 6-drop androids, for example, maybe even... I'm trying to think of other 6-cost cards, I suppose, that I can't really think of. The blue new stuff doesn't really matter because they either just put it down the following turn, or if you remove the Zamasu 6-cost, this gets bounced anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But the main reason we run this is it is a 5 energy dual attacker, which is good. It's very good. It's a way for us to just pressure some damage through. And then 2 Goku Blacks. I was umming and on about running this card, honestly, but I still think it's very good, right? As far as turn 6 plays go, I don't really know what else we would do apart from maybe playing like Pilaf and, you know, a 5-drop or something like that. I don't really know, but I still think that Goku Black is very good. We have a lot of very nice targets now between the Zamasu, the Trunks, and the Vegito. So it's for me, it's still definitely playable. And then we run 1 Zeno. It's just a one-off for me because honestly, I'm not a huge fan. The more I've read this card and the more I've sort of looked at it in testing, it just doesn't really do anything. Like, if you're playing against a wide board, yes, it does a lot to wide boards, but when you're playing against what are likely going to be the boogeymen of the set, which will be Yellow Frieza and probably still green, probably Broly and Gohan, things like that, and I genuinely believe in set 2 Android 17 and 18 will definitely be potentially, if not the best, green deck. But when you just get rid of their board, they're just going to tap 8 and play another one, or tap 6 and play a double striker. Like, do you know what I mean? There's very few opportunities where I see that Zeno is actually a great card. It's a 10k combo, which it has going for it, and it is literally your oh shit button. It is, we're in trouble, we need to kill the board, right? That's it. But again, I don't know, I just don't think it offers all that much, but outside of that, so I don't know, for me it's an iffy one. I still have one just in case, but there may be a discussion we have as to whether we run it at all or whether we run more. I think because this is a control build, we need it, but I don't know, once we get into those later turns, I don't know if it still holds value. And then we run 4 Old Kais. It's just a Supreme Kai super combo. I do not run, which we'll go over in a second, we're now on to the extra cards, but I don't run the extra card. Is it like Blades of Judgment or something like that? I can't remember which one it is, but it's like you active main / battle for 1 energy, you just search the top 5 for a Supreme Kai. So there may be a world where I actually run that extra card just because we now have a searchable super combo. So there may be that, but currently in this list it's not here. So we'll go over the extra cards now. So we have Gallic Gun. Everybody knows what this done. If you're at 7 or fewer cards in hand, so again, if you're at 8, you play Gallic Gun, you go down to 7, you plus 15, you draw. Turns our leader into 40k defensively for that battle. I like it just for those numbers because our opponent are likely going to try to swing to the 10k above what our leader is. And Gallic Gun gets us out of that for 1 energy, but no cards in hand. So that's why I like that. Then we run 2 Absolute Lightnings, which is choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. This is once again our oh shit removal. There is likely going to be turns here into certain matchups where we don't realistically do anything. We just kind of play an extra card, kill their board, control them down, and we just keep playing that kind of game. It depends. It really, really depends on how the board state and how the matchup is progressing. But I do like it as just spot removal for sure. So that's why it's in here. And then the last one is Sinister Sickle. I have 2 of these in here because we choose 2 of our opponent's back cards at the cost of 4 or less and bottom deck them. But we can actually choose 5 or lesses with Vegito. So there is, again, potential for us to get nasty with this, where we can, you know, Vegito and Sinister Shadows on the same turn, or if Vegito survived the turn, we can Sinister Shadows with it, and then we still have energy open for another play. Realistically, that's probably not going to happen, though. But being able to remove 5 or lesses, and multiple of them, is very strong. So I think that Sinister Sickle with this Vegito definitely gets a bit of a power buff, but once again, I'm not fully sure about it, to be honest. Again, the extra cards for me are open to debate. I'm not, because I've went for a control build, there's not like a weenie beatdown route here. So there's no like Final Hope Slashes, there's no like 1-cost beefy battle cards, you know, like the, I say that, the vanilla ones, but there's nothing like that in this deck, so I honestly don't know how this is supposed to look. Like I said, I've been looking at other decks for inspiration, most of which I've seen go to a control route. I think it's just a lot of the decks I'm seeing are trying to utilize as much of set 2 as possible, whereas I'm kind of leaning more towards set 1 with just some sprinkles of set 2, you know, like the secret rare, the Vegito, the extra card, the Vegito again. You know, there's I don't know. For me, I don't really understand how this is supposed to be played, and I think that that's going to take a lot of testing on behalf of the community. I will tell you this: everybody who's been watching my videos will know I am not great as a blue player, so I'm not very good at theory crafting blue decks in particular. I'm getting better with Vegeta for sure. The theory crafting for Vegeta, I do 100% think that was okay. I think that deck profile was really good, besides forgetting to put in super combos because I'm an idiot. But yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about Zamasu. I think time will tell whether or not this deck is playable. Face value, I'm going to say it's not. I think if you're a competitive player and you want to either climb the ladder on the digital client, or if you're going to locals, or if you're going to regionals or nationals, you know, for the physical game, I don't think this is a leader that's going to get you there with this current card pool. Maybe set 3 will change that, but right now, I don't think set 2 lends enough into this leader. And once again, I think that losing your draw power on your Awakened side is the largest part as to why I don't like this leader. You know, even if it was like bottom deck as Zamasu to draw a card, or something like that, if there was, or bottom deck an Earthling, so you maybe run a few more Earthlings or whatever, there's absolutely nothing in here that generates draw on the Awakened side. I hate that. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I can't stand it. For me, this is not a playable leader, but again, everybody wants to try Zamasu Fuse. The alt art of this leader is absolutely disgusting, so, you know, as a locals deck, I can completely see people wanting to play it. I just think that most of the blue stuff from last set and this set plays a lot better into Goku Black as a leader, if you're trying to go down the Goku Black Fuse Zamasu route. So that's my take. Feel free to disagree. Obviously, if people are watching this and they think I'm crazy, you know, please let me know in the comments. Let me know. I'm always up for deck discussions. If you want to post your deck lists into the comments, let the community see it, and I'll even have a look and see what it is that you're building. I am definitely going to play this leader when the new set drops on the digital client. I don't think I'm going to play it in the physical game, but I will definitely play it on the digital client just to test it and just to see how it feels. But yeah, I think Zamasu for sure is one of those leaders where if you don't have the meta version of the deck, you will never win a game. I think with Frieza, for example, you know, the starter deck leader, you could play a potentially subpar version where it's not terrible. Like, you're not just playing two starter decks mashed together, but you know, you've got a few upgrades in there. You know, like you've maybe got like 1 or 2 coolers, you've maybe got 1 Frieza 40k, maybe 2 Ginyus, something like that. If you have just slight upgrades, Frieza is so powerful as a leader that it can still win you games in higher tier ranks. I think that this leader is, unless you have exactly the ratios you need, this leader is unplayable. So that is one advice, or one bit of advice I will give to anybody looking to play this leader on the digital client. If you are not a whale and you are not spending money, or you are not playing the physical game and you're putting in dozens and dozens of codes, I don't think you can play this leader until you have a fully optimized list. I think if you play this as a subpar list, you're going to get beaten down quick, and it's going to put you off the deck permanently. So that's the only advice I will give you. I will not play this leader until I have at least what I see on screen here. All of the set 1 stuff I have, the set 2 stuff, you know, the Zamasus, this Zamasu, Vegito, even the secret rare. The secret rare for me needs to be a 2 of. If you only run 1, I don't know what you would. I wouldn't even up either of these personally because they're 0k combos. I don't know what you would run instead. Maybe another one of these. I don't know. It's a terrible trade, honestly. But yeah, it's one of those things. I've been dreading building this deck and bringing it to you guys because I know that no matter what build I bring, there are going to be people here who say it's been built incorrectly and it's been built wrong. I don't know how else to make this deck shine. I really don't. I've sat and thought about this for a long time. I've tried a beatdown route. I've been watching, even as soon as I jump onto Untap, you can see on my favourites bar up the top right here we have Untap. I've been jumping into Untap a lot, you know, trying to spectate games where I can. If I see Zamasu, I will sit and watch it while I'm working, just to give me something to do, kind of thing. Give me something to research. But when I look at everybody who's played Zamasu, I think I've watched probably 5 matches on the Untap, and I've never seen a Zamasu win a match. That's, for me, is a massive warning sign. And again, it could be players. I don't know the players who are playing. They could be brand new. They could be theory crafting like me. I don't know. But the fact that I've always thought since this leader was announced that there needed to be a massive draw engine within the actual core of the deck. This is the only draw engine. This Zamasu. This is the only draw engine. Pan doesn't draw. It just replaces. Yeah, I just without a draw engine, this leader sucks. That's just my take on it. Yeah, and I know I'm waffling on a bit, but I'm thinking even now as I'm talking through this, what I would do to change this deck and what I would do to make it better. I mean, for me, the only improvements for this list would be if you wanted to completely abandon the control route and just go a beatdown route. To play as much 1-drops as you can, Final Hope Slash, Pilaf, 1-drop, Final Hope Slash, and just on repeat. That might be the best way to play the deck, honestly. But I wanted to opt for a more controlled version of the deck, just for now. Like I said, I think that the Vegito and the Sinister Shadows, Absolute Lightning, these lend in very well to board removal for blue again. And again, Vegito does the same as well, because yeah, it returns it to its owner's hand, but still, if we are removing 0k combos, we don't care about that. So yeah, so I don't know. I think that the leader gives me the ick. We'll just say that. It's one of these things where, as much as I wanted this deck to be great, I'm very, very, very grateful that the other 2 leaders got such a power spike compared to this. So you never know. Set 3 might be the power spike for Zamasu. Time will tell. But guys, that's going to be the video. Like I said, if you have any disagreements or any, if you want me to change any, I say if you want me to change anything, but if you want to have a discussion around what you would build or what you would replace, for sure, just type it into the comments. Let me have a look at your deck profile, or like your deck, if you just want to copy the deck code or whatever into the comments. We'll have a look at it, and I might revisit this as another one maybe in a week or 2. We'll see. But for me personally, I just don't know. I don't know how I feel that this leader is going to perform going forward. So, but guys, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please give us a like and a subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.